Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. I'm jumping in here on season one, episode three of The Sopranos. We're only two episodes in, but I feel like we've got a lot of really well defined characters and set up some story arcs that I think are pretty interesting moving forward into this season that we're definitely going to see. I'm interested to see how they unfold. I don't want to ignore the stuff with Tony and his mother because I think that's a really complex relationship. She's in a home now, and I made the comment at the end of the episode that, well, maybe, she's upset now, won't talk to him now, but things will ease up over time, as tends to do with most people. But I don't think, thinking back on it over the week, that that's really the way the show's going to go, at least not now, simply because in therapy, Dr. Melfi told him, like, you need to confront the fact that you might actually hate your mother. You don't have any good memories of her, and you're carrying a lot of anger and you're displacing it somewhere else. So I think that that's there for a reason, that right, that Tony's going to have to address that, maybe with her at some point. Maybe they get past it, maybe they don't. But I don't think it's just going to get better with time. I mean, the lady's probably in her 70s here, so that's that's definitely not just a thing that's going to resolve itself naturally with the amount of dysfunction that both of these people are carrying. But I think the big thing for me that I've been really thinking about over the week was the whole situation with Junior still. Excuse me, hiccups here. Uncle Junior, that Chris and then Chris and Brendan, and then Brendan by himself both robbed him. And the episode was called 46 long because Tony took a suit, even though they were ripping off Junior, and even though he was upset about it. This is going to be a headache, but I'm going to go ahead and steal a suit while I'm at it too. So I think that is definitely going to keep coming and come to a head at some point. That's going to be really significant. The relationship between Junior and Tony. I think that one seems like, to me, less likely to be resolved in a positive way, because we've had a character killed in each episode so far, but neither one of them Tony has done or even ordered yet. And I would be really stunned if that didn't change throughout the run of the show, right? I expect Tony to both have people told that he wants them killed, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's plenty of times Tony actually kills somebody. It comes with the horrible job. We've definitely seen him hurt people. Um, so we'll see how that moves going forward. My prediction, for whatever those are worth, which is usually not much, is that Junior is going to be ready to come back on Christopher and Brendan about the whole robbery thing that got one of the drivers killed. Um, Brendan's an idiot, um, for sure. And he had an idiot crew. I mean, the guy set his gun on his lap, couldn't drive the truck, got up and then and dropped the gun and killed a man. The really stupid thing about that for me isn't that they don't know how to drive a truck. I don't know how to drive a semi, but I feel like if I was in a situation where me and my friends were going to plan to steal a semi, the first question in my mind would be, does anybody know how to drive one of these? And apparently none of them even bothered thinking about that reality. And the answer was no, and that's when everything really went off the rails. So now the question is, how does Junior react to this, and what does he want? Um, yeah, Christopher wasn't involved in this one, but Tony called him out on it and said, "You're the idiot who's supposed to be a leader and didn't stop him, and you knew about it." So my guess is that Junior's going to want blood, and that blood's going to be Christopher and Brendan, and Tony is going to say no on Christopher. Um, he's related to him and he hates Brendan, but he's going to say, I'll offer up Brendan completely, as retaliation. So no, so people know not to mess with Junior. I think that's a big thing, is the messaging, right? And I would not be surprised if by the end of this episode it's done, and that Christopher might even be the person that Tony says, you have to go do this. It's your mess. You go clean it up. And Brendan is killed by his own friend Christopher. Um, which I guess there was something poetic about that. He's obviously an idiot. He rubbed Tony the wrong way. He made cancer jokes about Tony's friend. I can't remember his name that we met in the last episode. Called him Chemo Sabi because he's in chemotherapy, which is obviously pretty tasteless, and Tony didn't take it well. But we shall see. I expect Junior to be some kind of foe. Again, as I said last time, I think he's kind of the Fredo of the show. I don't think he's incredibly capable in the way that Tony is, but that doesn't mean he's not dangerous. He's still important enough that Tony's like, you can't rip off Junior. This is his protection, which means he's not really Fredo. He's not on the side doing nothing. He's in the game. I'm not sure if he's, it seems like he's got a little bit of little man syndrome going along with that. But We shall see. Let's go ahead and jump into it here. Once again, thank you for coming back. I'm really glad you're here with me watching this.
We found this truck on the side of the road. I think some kids, I don't know. It's a gift from Tony Soprano.
Were they supposed to invoke Tony's name there? Is that a bad idea?
We just returned maybe the biggest score of my whole year.
Yeah, Brendan's a schmuck. Yeah. I kind of wonder if Christopher is logged to this world, too.
Well, and then he said to tell Tony thank you, and if there's anything Tony needs, you should give him a call.
Get it back, and old man calmly thanking Tony?
Yeah. He shouldn't have said it.
I bought his kid a $400 surfboard for his birthday.
He has to know Tony didn't actually have anything to do with the robbery. One would think. Interested in the barn painting?
The barn. And the old tree all rotted out inside.
Feeling insecure about it?
Depressing and scary to you?
Not to me.
So it's not a Rorschach test, but it worked like one.
Your friend has cancer.
I heard a friend of yours had a spontaneous combustion in his restaurant.
Yeah. I don't like that guy's chances.
Trust me, you caught a break being Jewish. See what I gotta deal with?
Teitelman's son-in-law will not give Teitelman's daughter the consent unless Teitelman gives him 50% of his motel.
You don't want to do business with these people.
He said there's 25 large in it if we can get him this here get.
So it's like a payoff, I guess? Like more like a alimony? Yeah,
Although why they
that's funny.
scheduled the SATs the same week as our recital
Same day.
What?
Who is? I can't deal anymore. So we don't sleep till after the SATs.
I'm not sure cramming for the SATs is the way to go.
They're putting us through a second arson investigation.
What do they think? You're mobbed up?
Who would burn down a perfectly good restaurant?
Oh, I don't think you should ever tell them.
Stupid.
Yeah. The guilt.
Come on, come in the kitchen. I'll buy you a beer.
I like Artie a lot. I don't think he would be cool knowing any of this about Tony. I mean, he knows he's a guy, but he doesn't know so much.
He's not only harming my daughter, but he's mocking our laws of marriage.
You may be having a family problem that I can help you with. And if I can do it, that will make me happy.
This reminds me a lot of the opening scene of The Godfather.
All right, 25%. He wants 50, we get 25.
I mean, 25 is better than 50. Is this the mildly threatening conversation because he just sent two guys?
That depends.
Any problem I may or may not be having with my family is none of your matter. So get out of here, huh?
Yeah, I saw that coming.
This is how I say nothing. How's that for nothing?
They are not afraid to go visceral with the violence in this show, are they?
Those two was so broke. That fire. Do you think it could have been arson?
What's the matter with you?
Nah, if we can't score some crystal, we're dead.
That's the time period we're in, back when kids thought meth was good for studying.
Una! There is fingerprints all over the brake front.
What are you doing here?
Yeah, hello to you too.
Hunter, what are you doing?
I want a cop.
If Tony found out about this,
How about for starters, your father will put a bullet in my head?
yeah, that was my first
Since when
thought.
do you take speed anyway?
Fine. Just thought I'd ask you before we went down to Jefferson Avenue.
Isn't it better if she gets it from you with all that poison that's floating around?
This is the logic of I let my kids drink in my house.
Want me to leave?
No problem. Just looking for my nurse's pin.
No, sweetheart, I have not been out of this bed all day.
Okay, took me a second. This is a Ferris Bueller moment here, isn't it?
That was nice
Very
of
happy
you to
to-
have
yeah.
a party
Yeah.
for your friend.
Yeah. There was a tumor, and they took it out.
They're not operating?
Well, it's next to something vital.
What's happening is we're getting closer to you confronting your true feelings about what's really going on here. The tree and the painting, write it out, you said? There's nothing in that picture to indicate that.
A lot of layers to peel back on this guy if she's going to have any progress with him. But he keeps going back. I'll give him that. He loses his cool a lot. Not vulnerable, but he keeps going back.
If anyone ever finds out you got this from me,
Yes.
look at me. This is no joke.
The guy offers us 2 tickets to the Caribbean out of pure friendship for me. You won't take them because they're tainted.
This is a paying job and not some cruise.
So you don't mind that he fronts me some money for a new place because he offered.
But to have that man as a partner, trust me, Artie, that would be insane.
I was so busy schmoozing, I barely had a bite.
You are not gonna miss those little veal tonadas.
I'm kind of with Tony. Having this many people in the house would suck, even a big house like this. Oh no. I was wondering why they zoomed in on her hand the first time she did the gesture.
Okay, enough already. Why don't you forget about the past? Look to the future, okay?
He doesn't want to talk about it yet.
Come on. Look at that.
What do I get, huh? You work for nothing? I don't think so. I worked for a father for 20 years and put up with his abuse. I should walk away without a nickel?
I mean, I agree.
Times are wasted.
This is a different woman than the last time. Tony has a stable of ladies.
This thing isn't working out the way we hoped. You know, with our friend with the funny sideburns.
This is another painting.
What's that painting mean to you?
Nothing. It just reminds me of David Hockey.
David Hockey.
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me.
Yeah, hold that thought.
Yeah.
I warn you to keep away from those fanatics.
He's leaving me no options.
I know one thing that no man wants to go through life without.
Oh, wow.
Finish his bris.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I gave up my stake in the hotel over that, yeah.
I know it may not seem like it right now, but you guys will get back on your feet again. You'll see.
You were down at the show with your parents that summer? You and Tony were on the outs? He called me. Camilla, I slept with them.
Wow, this was a slap back.
Really, it wasn't for me. I mean, we both made our choices. I'm fine with mine.
I like the fact in this scene that like she was clearly upset, and then like most movies and television shows, the audience sees with the other character doesn't seem to pick up on it. And I'm glad that she did. It was more realistic than I'm used to seeing, but that was low.
The guy gave you the get, didn't he?
But not because of you. You scared him, threatened him with castration. He wanted 50%. You wanted 25%. So I split the difference. I gave him 15%.
Oh, no, you still owe him the 25%.
You want to give your son-in-law 15% of the motel? You go ahead. It comes out of your end.
You mud. Godless clown.
Yeah, this guy's really taking the moral high road here after going to them for this. They delivered.
Got some good news. We're in the motel business. How do you like that?
Read this.
Tony wants to keep it like nothing's going on, but obviously it is a lot.
Good, here's his reasons.
I hate that line from everyone who's ever used it.
This Christopher Moltisanti.
Christopher.
Him and his little friend. They're slapping me in the face.
Well, Tony always loved Christopher like a son. And so do I, Junior.
He's putting up a bigger fight over him threatening Christopher than when he said something should be done about Tony. She didn't say anything then.
Maybe Christopher could use a little talking to. The other one? Filoni?
Wow. Lady Macbeth here.
You got a lot of sense for an old gal.
I'm a babbling idiot. That's why my son put me in a nursing home.
I'm not afraid of death. Not if it's for something.
Everybody says that until they're faced with it. Look at Jackie.
Why we're given the questionable gift of knowing that we're gonna die.
Well, I still keep thinking, what's going to happen when Camilla finds out that Tony's therapist is a woman? Is that going to bother her? And why did Tony hide it from her? Oh, is this Junior sending a scared straight message to Christopher? I mean, it makes sense. That's what he was told to do.
Listen, Meadow wanted the crystal. If I didn't get
Oh,
it,
he
the
thinks
shooter
it's
would've got
from
Jefferson
Tony.
Avenue.
It's that thing of going out like a man Tony's just talking about, and here's Christopher's losing it, which I would too. I'm not faulting him at all. So he gets the scared straight move, and I'm assuming that we're going to lose Brendan here. Kind of like The Godfather, the cross-cutting between the church music and all the violence.
Hi, Jack. Bye, Jack.
But it's just such a weird juxtaposition to me in all of these mobster movies and TV shows, and it probably reflects reality, is why it's in all of them. Is that there's like a religious belief, and then the brutality of the job, which are completely in conflict with one another. I mean, let's face it. There's hypocrisy in everything and everywhere, but it's definitely pretty prevalent in this kind of situation. He's a good Catholic boy who murders 6 people a year. Man. The question, I guess, then becomes is because Christopher thought it was Tony, and nobody corrected him. So is he going to know that it was Junior? Right? Like Junior sent the message, but if he doesn't know what the message is, other than we could have killed you and didn't, and he doesn't know who the we is he going to go forward now, assuming that Tony was the one who one who put the fear in him right there, and two killed Brendan because they happened simultaneously, right? So when he gets up and around and finds out that Brendan's dead, is he going to assume that Tony is the one that did both of them instead of Junior? And is that going to be a thing? Because we had the moment where Tony threatens him a little bit. I think it was episode 1 where he referred to him as Henry Hill because he wants to go out to Hollywood and turn his mob stories into movies, and there's a lot of money in that. And Tony was kind of like that. There's a level of betrayal there, right? Lack of loyalty, which is interesting because at the beginning of the last episode, the guys were watching the documentary, and it was like a former mob member who was kind of spilling a little bit about the end of the mob coming. It's kind of foreshadowing that kind of lack of loyalty was moving forward here with Christopher and Brendan and their robbery. But I'm really curious to see moving forward where we go with Junior and Tony's mother because she has so much anger for Tony, and she mentioned it again to Junior here. Is it possible, and I could be way off base here because she is a mother, but we haven't seen anything good from her, and apparently nothing has. Is it possible that she is going to push Junior into a war with Tony to punish Tony? Um, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happens. Now, again, Tony may go there. They may reconcile. She may figure out that life in a retirement home isn't the worst thing in the world, but she's still holding on to that. And I think the fact that she tells Junior what to do here, right? Scare Christopher, get rid of Brendan, and then is like, and boy, Tony doesn't care about me at all, sticking me in this home. I think she might be pushing Junior to come at Tony a little bit, and I wouldn't be surprised if she weaponizes Junior against Tony a little bit at some point, right? Like, it kind of goes from, boy, this Tony's awful, Junior, you're great. Boy, you know what? You should really be running things. And I wouldn't be surprised if that level of manipulation kind of happens to Junior because, again, I know I keep harping on the poor lad, but Junior seems a little less than when it comes to the masterminds of the mob on the show. And I wouldn't be surprised if she kind of ends up pushing Junior into feeling his weenies a little bit, so to speak, to where he is the one that decides to kind of take action, and she's really the one behind it. It's quite an interesting dichotomy. I guess the question then becomes: do we get to that point, or is Tony, by virtue of going to therapy and all of this, able to confront his mother in a healthy way, where this all gets avoided? Who knows? This is a show I cannot predict at all. Obviously, Brendan was not long for this world. Jackie is probably not long for this show either. It's interesting that Tony in therapy was like, I'm not afraid to die as long as it's for something. Well, we've got Jackie dying, and he's not okay. Christopher almost died. He wasn't okay. Brendan got shot. He clearly was not okay. No one. This idea of facing death like a man is really a dated, archaic idea that I don't find incredibly realistic. I mean, not that there aren't people who would face it with aplomb or however you want to put it, but Tony obviously lives through the show. It's his show. I don't know. Maybe the last episode he doesn't. I don't really know what happens with the last episode at all. But I think that there's a little romanticization, romanticizing of death here that Tony's not facing realistically. And I think the rotting tree that isn't really there in the painting, which made sense because when he was first describing it, he's like, "Oh, when I was like, oh, I missed the rotting tree. I just saw the barn door, the red barn and the barn door." And then when Dr. Melfi's like, "There's no rotting tree there. You added that." Um, so obviously that is kind of indicative of slow decay and cancer and death. Um, the only reason I bring this up is I really feel like Tony's very realistic about death right now. I think it's something that he's really taking a keep it out of your mind, keep it at bay feeling with. He certainly was with Jackie. He's going to beat this. Well, it looks like he's not. If they can't operate on it, it's probably fatal. But we shall see. I am 3 episodes deep now in the show and loving every second of it. Once again, I'm really really glad you guys are here watching this with me. I hope you are enjoying the show as much as I am. For those who are watching it for the first time, because there's a lot going on here. Powerhouse performances all the way around. Obviously, most notably from James Gandolfini, but I'll catch you next one, guys.